Hello, everyone all around the world. This is an open message to the President of the United States, President J. Donald Trump. I want to first and foremost congratulate Your Excellency for you being the 47th President of the United States. You ran election, you campaigned on a lot of things, and now you have been sworn in, and it looks like you are beginning to do what you say you are going to do. But also in doing what you say you are going to do, it's very important for some of us to push back on some things you're doing and also to educate you on some things you're doing. I'm a man who is running or who has run for election to run a country, and someday I'm still going to run the country. Maybe someday I will find myself sitting toe to toe with you to talk about things about the world, about Africa and its relations to America. And that is why it's very important that if I was a sitting Nigerian president today, I will be making this same video to talk to you as you are handling and running your country, America. First and foremost, it's very important to make some background information so that it will help what I'm about to talk about. America is a country that says that in God we trust, and is a country that says God's own country. So let's go to that God and let's see how the world started. When God made the heaven and the earth, the heavens were with no form, the earth with no form. There was no borders. There was no fences. There was no geographical locations. There was no countries. There was no continent. The only thing that God created was the east, the west, the north, and the south. That was the way Africa, America, Russia, every country since then was being recognized as either in the west, in the south, or in the north. The people of God were moving from Jerusalem, Israel, walking to Egypt, Africa. As at this time, Egypt was not in Africa. It was just a place on the surface of the earth. There was no creation of boundaries. There was no creation of countries. There was no creation of continents. People moved from the north of the world to the south of the world to the east of the world. But lo and behold, at some point in time, when God says that the people were speaking one language, they were in one accord, and they could build a tower that will reach heaven. The Bible says that their languages were changed. They couldn't understand each other. And with that, we have now different languages all around the world today. That is why we have the Russians, we have the Asians, we have the Africans, we have the Jamaicans, we have the Indians, and every other tribe you can think of in the world today. And that is when human beings start to create boundaries, start to create fences, start to create territories and countries. That is how we get to where we are today. But even in spite of that, there is a country that is still unique than every other nation on earth, and that country is called United States of America. There is no country in the world that is greatest than this country. There is no country in the world that is biggest than this country. The uniqueness of this country is not about how big it is, because it's not even big. Some nations are bigger than America in landmass. Its uniqueness, it's not because of just because of things that are there, because there are not things that are there that are not in any part of the world. Its uniqueness is not because of population, because in terms of population, China, Asian countries are even more populated than America. But there's one thing that America has that the rest of the world don't have it. That is the diversity in humanity, the diversity of human beings. In America, that is where you find an Asian, an American, an African, a Canadian, a Jamaican, an Afghan, an Iranian, Name them. It is a country where every migrant all around the world have seen as a place to sojourn. And that is why America has the best doctors, the best lawyers, the best everything in the world. Because every best of every field is here in the United States. That is the diversity that makes America the greatest country on earth. And that diversity is what makes everybody wants to come to this country. Not because there is no country anywhere in the world to go, but because of the diversity of this country. And that is why America is the United States of every migrant. Everyone in this country come from somewhere. Just like you, Mr. President. That's your descendants. They came from somewhere in Europe. Some came from Africa. Some came from India. Some came from Asia. That was how all of us find ourselves in this country called United States of America. And fast forward to where we are today. Now, we have immigrants who are making this country what it is today. When you go to the hospitals, you will see that 60% of those who are working there and saving lives are immigrants. When you see firefighters, those who are working there are immigrants. When you go to hotels, those who are working there are immigrants. When you go to a supermarket, shops, malls, those who are working there, 60% of course are immigrants. When you look at police force, even our military, the most respected and the best military in the world are immigrants. Because this country is a country of immigrants. Now, if we must talk about the immigration policy, if you want to really fix immigration policy, then why don't you sit down with the lawmakers and let us carve down something that can work, something that will not be a policy that will demean people. Because the people we are demeaning are the people that make this country great. And they are still making this country great. And everybody in the world see America as a country of hope, as a place of hope, as a place where they will get to. And when they get there, things will be better for them. America is like a church where you run to, a synagogue where you run to be saved by God. That is the way people see America. And I do not want American president to jeopardize this way people see America. Because God can take the glory away from this country to another country in the world. It is, of course, right that many nations in the world are struggling with bad leaders, with war, with oppression. But because America is unique in its uniqueness, in its diversity of humanity, that is why it is the most prosperous nation on earth, the most prosperous nation on earth, the most uniqueness of any nation that you can think about. And this uniqueness is because of its diversity in people. It is in this country you will see every race, every tribe around the world here in America. That's what makes us the great nation. Not just because of the name, not because we're just superpower. So it is very important for President Donald Trump to know this so that we can be able to taper down this tension in the country. Now, let us come to deportation that the president is about to do. There is no country in the world where we do not have criminals. And of course, I will support deporting criminal aliens out of this country. There is no Americans, there is no immigrants who are lawfully working and trying to see how to make ends meet, how to help their families, how to pay taxes, that also will want any criminal alien to stay in this country. But being criminal is not peculiar to aliens or migrants alone. And that is what I want Mr. President to change by just blatantly naming every migrant, majority of the migrants, as criminals, as prisoners, as people released from jail. That is not who we are. That is not who immigrants are. And we all know that. Mr. President, may I also remind you that within the last 50 school shootings in America were not done by immigrants, were done by Americans. We have American citizens who are killing people, who are raping people, who are doing bad things too. But we overblown when it comes to immigrants as if all immigrants are bad. There is nowhere in the world where we don't have pockets of bad people. So people who are migrants or into this country who are committing crime is not peculiar. The terrorists that shot so many people in New Orleans a few weeks ago is an American citizen. The school shootings that have been happening for the last 8 years, they were all American kids born in this country. What do we say about that? So, crime is not peculiar to migrants alone. Crime is peculiar to human being. It's an human being nature. And if we're going to fight it, let us fight crime. And let us not use migrant as a playbook to demean people who come to this country just to contribute to America. Because if most of these migrants are pushed out of this country today, America will go down. So we will support you, Mr. President, because we want you to succeed. Democrats, Republicans, Independent, the whole world, they are going to succeed. The reason why people voted for you is not necessarily because of immigration, but because of economy to bring prices of food down, prices of housing down. Those were the things we voted you for, to protect our kids in school and not for them to be killed by another American. And in the course of doing this, if there are any migrants who committed any offense, of course, the law can deport them. Everyone will support that. Both Democrats, Republicans, Independent will support that. But demeaning all migrants as rapists, as prisoners, is inhuman. And I hope Mr. President will look into it. And please, don't do this to American people. Going to churches, going to mosques, to picking people, it's not American. Americans are good people. We are our brothers' keepers. Our neighbors who might not have paper are good people. Because they are not criminals. They are in this country. They are working as handyman. They are helping to build houses. They are helping agriculture. They are helping in grocery stores. All they want to do is just work, pay taxes, and make this country the greatest country on earth. So, in the midst of all of this, if we have few percent of people who are committing crimes and they happen to be illegal immigrant or undocumented immigrant, the law can take them out of the country. Everybody supports that. The law can take them out of the country. Everybody supports that. But not a blatant dehumanization of human people just because they are migrants to America. Remember, sir, even the president of the United States came from somewhere. The first lady of America came from somewhere. Every one of us came from somewhere. And because we come from somewhere, that is why we must treat human as human beings, not as prisoners, not as criminals. So I want to appeal to President Donald Trump that I ask you embark on your policies that will support where we need to support you. Let's treat all Americans, those who are here, who are not committing crimes, who wish to just, work, get papers, and pay bills. Let us give room, for permanent residency for people who are not committing crimes. Let's give people an opportunity who run away from war in their own country to have a place to live in America. That is what America is. America has always been a country that people run to, like a synagogue for safety. And that is what I feel this country will still be. After 4 years of Mr. Trump, America will still continue. So please, spend your legacy, your 4 years, to make humanity better and not to make it worse. Because look at what happened. The pardoning of January 6 rioters who beat police, who killed police. They are Americans. They are not even illegal aliens. Do we pardon that? But if illegal aliens do that, they are criminals? Mr. President, I want you to think about all of these actions. Because every action you take, God is saying, the world is saying, and the world will judge America by your action, by what you say and what you do. May God bless America. May God bless the president and make you prosper. Make America the greatest country on earth that has always been. May God bless you. May God bless me. I remain Fadri Oluwadare Joseph. Some people call me Father Joe. I'm a former president aspirant of Nigeria. And on someday, I will run a country that the world will no longer be coming to America, but run to Africa to stay. Thank you.